you have to not only build a great product, but you got to know what it takes to be competitive. Pricing, reviews, listings, your advertising strategy. There's a bunch of signals that you need to be on top of 24/7. And it's really, really hard for sellers to stay on top of that. Market IQ really tries exactly to solve that is be your always on competitive intelligence for both Amazon and Walmart. Not only tell you who your competitors are, but specifically where you're spending money, where you're investing ad dollars for the products to get advertised, who are the competitors that are showing up on keywords you're competing against, and ultimately also telling you what to do to improve your rank.
Tell me about what you see being one of the biggest problems that sellers are facing in the market today.
Yeah, great question, Cam. As we know, sellers and brands really have a challenging time really competing on these marketplaces. Both Amazon and Walmart, there are more sellers and brands coming on every day, every week. And just trying to navigate that space, depending on the different categories, there's new brands, there's new competition, and you got to stay on top of that. You have to not only build a great product, but you got to know what it takes to be competitive. Pricing, reviews, listings, your advertising strategy. There's a bunch of signals that you need to be on top of 24/7. And it's really, really hard for sellers to stay on top of that without, AI and the tools that we can provide.
So, what is market IQ then, as it relates to that problem?
Yeah. So Market IQ really tries exactly to solve that is be your always on competitive intelligence for both Amazon and Walmart. Not only tell you who your competitors are, but specifically where you're spending money, where you're investing ad dollars for the products to get advertised, who are the competitors that are showing up on keywords you're competing against, and ultimately also telling you what to do to improve your rank. We're really focused on page one because we know
Mm.
that's where clicks, actions, and sales happen. And so we want to not only tell you who's there, who's competing with you, but also what you need to do to improve your rank.
Yeah. So, quick definition of biggest problem, a big problem sellers are facing today is has to do with competition, right? Market IQ helping solve for that. Let's go one step deeper. Break down the different functions of market IQ for me. Obviously, we don't have visuals here. Those are coming in the webinar at the end of the month, going more in depth, explaining what market IQ does and showing it. But break down the functionality for me. How does market IQ exactly solve for these problems?
Yeah, so it really again starts with the advertising dollars you're spending on these marketplaces. So we really take the keyword search terms you're spending, investing money on in Amazon, Walmart, and show you who's you're competing against on page one.
Mm.
So that's really the foundation is automate this process of competitive intelligence right within the Market IQ product, and then really focusing on what does that performance look like from an organic and paid view.
Mm.
We know these search results change hourly, weekly, and so that's what our system is doing. It's always on. It's always looking at who's new, who's existing, and how is ranking changing based on different strategies. And then ability to obviously show you head to head. Who are you going head to head on a product level, and what are the actions and insights you can actually take to
Mm.
improve those rankings?
Tell me about why page one for paid specifically and organic. Like why is the focus mostly there?
Yeah, so industry data has proven that 80 to 90% of sales and clicks really happen on page one. So obviously there's different keyword strategies and ad strategies based on who you want to target in terms of audiences, but really understanding and getting on page one is where you're going to see the biggest results and impact. So not only understanding who you're competing against, but how to get there based on different strategies, whether it's advertising or even listings. It's key kind of strategy to how to improve that.
Yeah. Now, we've both been in this industry for a while. Competitor intelligence is not a new solution, right? Like just broadly speaking. So I'm very curious to hear your perspective on what sets this apart, what sets Market IQ from Teikametrics apart from other offerings that are in the space as well.
Yeah, where Market IQ really stands out is one, it's focused on where you're spending your ad dollars. It's not a generic competitor info around like just wishy-washy information. It's true data around where are you spending money, who are competitors that are showing up on these marketplaces.
Hmm.
And then the second part, we know there's a bunch of AI tools, right? There's a bunch of like people use ChatGPT and whatever to find competitors. This actually starts looking at, I think we have 13 different signals around what makes your competitors. and what signals you need to look for. Everything from reviews, pricing, your inventory. So it's taking a bunch of your own data and your competitor rank, and then really kind of making it relevant. And then on top of that, really understanding not all competitors are the same. You're going to have competitors that are direct substitutes. So,
Mm.
a shopper that might be looking for rugs, for example, there's a bunch of noise out there. There's true substitutes. You've got adjacent where maybe they're similar, but they're 50% cheaper, lower quality. And then you've got kind of auction inflators where they're just kind of creating a lot of noise. So knowing who your competitors are allows you to focus on your ad strategy. You want to go defensive. Who do you want to specifically go after in terms of that competitive space? Because we know there's a lot of noise. We
Yeah.
know there's different qualities of products depending on where they're manufactured. So having the right information and data is critical.
Yeah. And tying, I mean, we talk about this whenever there's a product release or an update, it's important to point out the capabilities of the product on an individual basis, but also tie it back to the complete system. So RE as a whole. Alone, market IQ is so powerful, right? But tying that directly into everything else RE has to offer, I'm guessing, and I'm curious to hear you elaborate on this, that that is where things get even crazier from the standpoint of utilizing this data and information to plug into your advertising and whatnot. I'm curious, what do you think about that?
Yeah, really, really good call out. As you mentioned, RE platform and how Market IQ is part of the RE insights helps you really navigate where to go next. So by giving you the right competitor information, it links to where is this product actually being advertised? What are the advertising strategies I can take? Whether it's increasing bids and so forth, and then you can understand where your organic rank is, that which can then drive RE catalog and smart pages to drive listing improvements. So it starts, you kind of really see the whole ecosystem of how the RE platform is connecting it, and Market
Yeah.
IQ is kind of the navigation compass to that as well.
Yeah, that's great. So who exactly is Market IQ for? And it can be for there could be a wide range of who Market IQ applies to, but who is it for exactly?
Yeah, I think it's any seller or brand that's investing ad dollars on marketplaces like Amazon and Walmart. Really, if you're spending any amount of money, you really want to make sure it's being stretched as far as it can be,
Yeah.
and you're using those insights that we provide to have the most effective ad spend. Whether it's like, hey, you need to maybe reduce or you need to double down. It's all yeah.
Yeah, if you
You're
can
spending money.
if you find value in diving into your competition, then this then it's very useful for you. Um,
Exactly.
so and I know this is obviously just releasing, right? But I'm wondering if you can give me any insight on, even if it's just an implication on what's next for Market IQ. Where does Market IQ go from here?
Yeah, we're really excited. So we launched Market IQ earlier this year. We've had a lot of beta customers, existing customers that have adopted this product, and it's really been helpful in terms of driving different ad strategies, listing optimization opportunities. And a lot of that is, again, powered by the AI that we've built behind this. This is the foundation of understanding what are all those different signals to drive different actions.
Mm.
The next version we're working on, which is going to launch in the next 60 days or so, is really around in-app workflows to actually action those changes right in the product. And so that's the evolution of how this is going to get even more exciting and you being able to manage more products and make those changes effectively right in the product.
Yeah, that's great. Part of the conversation that Alistair and I have been having on the podcast recently is like TikTok Halo, or MCP. The main theme of those being the sooner you plug in, I think the easier it will be down the line to optimize and stay plugged into future updates. I think this is a good example of the sooner you plug in and start updating some of these, the sooner you'll be ready for future updates as they come. Market IQ is a great tool to plug into now, and to prepare for the future, especially. So, last final question. Um, talk about you said it's available now. So how do people gain access if they have a Teikametrics account? If they don't have a Teikametrics account, what does that look like?
Yeah, so definitely sign up for an account. Our advanced and enterprise accounts, we start automatically enabling this. You can talk to your customer success manager or your sales rep, and we can get this going. And to your point, the sooner you enable the Market IQ, the faster you're going to get those insights, because we know that landscape's changing, hourly and daily. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Pave, thank you for shedding some light on Market IQ. We have a more in-depth webinar at the end of this month that I'll include a link to in the description of this podcast. And it will be Pave there as well, walking us through the product. So if you want to see visuals of Market IQ and understand a little bit more about how it works and the value that it brings, sign up for that free webinar. Pave, thank you so much for being on here, and I'm looking forward to that webinar at the end of the month.